Hey there. Welcome to another episode of the VETS of Entrepreneurship. My name is Corporal Cron. This introduction is going to be a little bit different because we had some problems with the one that was actually shot during the filming. So I just wanted to go ahead and get that out of the way. I also wanted to let everyone know who's watching it either through audio only or both video and audio that there is a 15-minute section probably within 15 minutes of the interview where it goes into a 15-minute long section of where we just do a walk along with our participant. To give you a little more information, his name is Richard Avery. He's with Avery Irrigation, Landscape and Design. They are out of Waco, Texas. Once again, he is an entrepreneur. So this might be a little bit different of a podcast, but every one of ours is always going to be a little different depending on where we go. So I hope you like it. If you have any questions, please leave any comments or complaints or whatever you would like. And I hope you enjoy.
Hi, I'm Richard Avery, Marine Corps veteran, 6 years from 94 to 2000. Was a 53 mechanic, hydraulics airframes, best aircraft in the Marine Corps.
That's what they say.
Well, it's the truth.
I think we're going to have to lower your mic down a little bit or switch sides. Yeah, it's pretty much in your way.
There, how's that? Oh, you were trying to see my face. I was trying to cover my face.
Maybe you should put it a little bit closer just in case. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Looks good.
See, I'm right-handed. It's going to be in the way of my beer, but
yeah. So tonight we're gonna play a little bit of poker. We're gonna drink a little bit of whiskey. We have this great product, Hotel Tango. They're at Hotel Tango Distilleries. You should check them out sometime. We're not sponsored by them, but we think they have a pretty good product. They're veteran owned.
Very good.
Very good. I really love their 2-year bourbon. This is the just the regular bourbon they have. Looks like a canteen. It has that beautiful MRE logo. Oops. Yeah, there we go. Beautiful MRE logo. Look at that. They got a reserve bourbon as well, but we say that from time to time. But this one is probably my favorite. If you ever get a chance to try them, I suggest it. That's just me though. But like I said, they're not sponsoring us or anything. We just really like their product. We've been drinking it for, I don't know, a year.
Yeah, about a year. I don't know. You turned me on to it.
Yeah, I think it had to be about a year ago because I was starting to make mixed drinks, but those videos will come out pretty soon. You guys will see. If you're listening to this on whatever platform you're listening to this on, you should probably go check out our video sometime. That way you can kind of get a better look of what's going on with, get a face. I think we met in the gym and,
believe it or not.
Yeah. I don't look like I go, but I go to socialize. So I run my mouth. It's about the best amount of cardio I'm going to get. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Oh man, I don't know what to say.
Where are you from?
Well, I grew up in Austin, Texas. Don't admit that much anymore, but enlisted in the Marine Corps after my 11th grade year, right when I turned 17, and graduated, turned 18, and off I went. And, back in 1994, and did 6 years. Most of that was my main station was there in North Carolina at the air station at New River, and did a few deployments, got a little over 2 years of sea time, getting to see different places, do different things. So got out and came back home to Austin, met my wife, got married, had kids, lived the fun life now. She keeps me on my toes.
I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but I'm going to go over to his side in a second, but he's got a whole wall over here. So if you can see, you have your, I don't know what what's that?
Which one?
The big United States. Yeah, that one.
Oh, that's a promotion warrant certificate.
For which rank?
Staff sergeant.
Oh, fucking motivator.
Yeah.
And behind you, which we can't see because your big ass head's in the way. Lean forward. Yeah.
We ain't gonna talk about head sizes, but okay.
So we have all his medals and ribbons back here. It's got a decent little stack for someone who wasn't a combat vet, but
yeah.
We'll let you slide. That beautiful the cover of the Leatherneck magazine, Motivator.
Yeah, my 15 minutes of fame.
And I think to the right of that, you have a bunch of different pictures of...
Yeah, a little collage. My wife put this together where she stole a bunch of my photos one time and, put that together. Over here we got finishing school out back in Millington back in the day when Millington was still open, before everybody went to Pensacola for the air wing.
Yeah.
Yeah. They gave me a plaque when I got out, I don't know if you can see the flag in the camera. Oh, that was my grandfather's. He was a veteran. He retired. He did the first 4 years in the Marine Corps at the end of World War II, and then went in the Army and finished out the Army at Fort Hood. That's basically how my family ended up in Texas. So
yeah. Well, now your son's a Marine, right?
Oh yeah, he is. He's out.
Let's talk a little bit about that.
Oh yeah,
kind of following the lineage, isn't he?
Yeah, he's trying. Because you kind of see a little bit of this is my wife's side of the wall over here. Her father was a Marine. He was a Vietnam veteran. He was recon, Vietnam 68, I believe, somewhere in that range. So, we have a little bit of Marine Corps history in the family, So, he graduated high school and he had already made his mind up he was going to do it too. And so now he's a little PFC, been in for almost a year.
You said you were airframe on the 53s, and what's his MOS?
Yep. What is his MOS?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now he's a flight line mechanic for Ospreys on the V-22. What is that? I think a Bravo now.
I don't know.
Probably. So, yeah. Well, us smart people that got good jobs.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, I worked with helos.
So
you were a crew chief, weren't you?
Well, no, I was airframers, but I became an aerial observer, aerial gunner.
What's a airframer?
Well, kind of what it sounds like. I worked on the airframes of the aircraft. But when I went in, they were just in the process of combining sheet metal and hydraulics into one job and calling it airframes. I was actually trained hydraulics on the aircraft and had to learn at the shop basically how to work on the airframe of the aircraft. So,
yeah.
So, my son is a flight line mechanic taking care of engines, transmissions, gearboxes, all the fun stuff, basic knuckle draggers, it's, you ain't got to be smart to be a mechanic, you start moving up.
You got flight time though, don't you?
Me, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
how did you get flight time?
Well, eventually, once I became a aerial observer, aerial gunner, because once I got, basically got some rank and got, a billet, I was a collateral duty inspector on the aircraft. They allow us to become, the observers where we basically help the crew chiefs on the aircraft. We fly and left side of the aircraft is our responsibility. So, and we just basically do whatever they tell us to do and ask us,
So what's the difference between an aerial observer and the crew chief?
The crew chief actually goes to school. Like that's his MOS. It's an actual MOS where they go to school and they get all the training to aircraft specific stuff. And they're in charge of the aircraft. You got the pilot and a co-pilot who signed for the aircraft, but really the crew chief is the guy that's in charge of it. It's kind of his aircraft. And then as an observer gunner, we're just helping him as an extra set of eyes, an extra set of hands, and, crew coordination, taking care of everything, everybody working together. It's just somebody else on the aircraft to help. So,
okay. Well, as some of you may know, I was a red patcher, and red patchers do all the logistics stuff. So you're welcome, just in case. But, no, we do a lot of flight line stuff. So I thought it was very coincidental that whenever we first met, because he worked on 53s. And when I was in, the 53s were like the main thing that we were working on. We were doing all of our external lists with 53s. And then whenever the 22 started getting really big, I think it's more whenever the Delta started getting replaced with Ospreys is when we started doing the external lifts with those. And man, they suck so much. They're so bad. And the 46s, I mean, they struggle to lift anything.
Yeah, the 46s, I mean, it was such an old aircraft and an old airframe because I actually had my wings on 46s and 53s because my recruiter, when he got back in the fleet, was actually a 46 mechanic. He was a crew chief.
Yeah.
And so my second med cruise, he was the flightline NCOIC, and he had asked me about being an AO on 46s because they needed extra people. And so I started flying on them. But the 46 was such an old airframe, but it was a really stable airframe. It was weak in the sense, like you're saying, like they couldn't lift much. They were really slow, but they were so reliable in the sense of, getting certain, like if you wanted to move like, a small group, like a fire team of grunts or somebody somewhere, they could do it quick. They were a very stable airframe because they were small, but they were just so outdated. They were kind of weak, but they were fun. They were fun to fly on.
No, that's not yours. That's a discard putt.
Oh, I was gonna say you weren't even tell me what we were gonna play.
Yeah, we're gonna play poker, I guess.
Poker in the front, liquor in the rear.
Yeah, it's I just thought it was really coincidental whenever we first met that you worked on 53s.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, like I said, my opinion, best aircraft in the Marine Corps.
I agree.
Now they're coming out with the King Stallion. I was an Echo guy. So
I didn't really, I mean, the Ospreys look really cool when we first saw them, because the first time we really I interacted with them was, just so you guys can see that. First time I interacted with them was, I guess, in Iraq, and they were flying a bunch of generals and colonels in VIP flights because they got there so quick. But it was kind of awkward because when they first told us about them, they were saying, oh, well, they just did a bunch of experimental or they were doing research and development on them, and they were crashing whenever they were going from their helicopter mode to their flight mode. And they were like, oh, it gets here so much quicker. And I'm like, it doesn't, I mean, if it crashes, it crashes, Yeah,
they had a bunch of problems with the Osprey when they were first coming out. Like you're saying, a lot of the transition modes from, vertical flight to horizontal or vice versa. And so, but I mean, I think it's like any aircraft when they first come out, you're going to have your glitches.
We get 5 or 3?
Only got 2 right there.
No, how many do we get?
What are we playing? You never said. Like 5-card draw. That's a really basic game. 5 cards.
Yeah, let's do 5.
So, no, but I don't know. I don't know much about the Osprey. Me and my son talk about it. Make sure you got no camera where you can see my cards.
No, I can't. I would tell you if I could. So, I mean, you guys talk a lot, right?
At least once a week we try. I mean, he's in Hawaii, so there's a 5-hour difference. So it makes it really difficult sometimes because they've been working quite a bit. So they're not getting off sometimes. They're working till, 5 or 6 o'clock. And that's making it 10 or 11 o'clock our time. And I'm old, so I go to bed early normally.
Except for tonight.
Yeah. Well, it's getting close to bedtime, but,
Yeah.
So, but I mean, it's like everything else. Unless he has something, like he'll call me sometimes throughout the week, like, hey, can you check on this for me or do this? Or, we might do something like that. Well, you cheating?
No.
Used to playing cards with my wife and kids, man. I got to watch you.
You discarding any?
Not yet. I mean, I will.
It's your go.
Okay, well.
So, I mean, I'm assuming that he likes his job.
Oh, yeah. So far, he keeps saying how much he loves it. It's funny because I didn't take him as a mechanic. He always talked about he didn't want to be a mechanic. When we would do things, we'd work on the vehicles or something, change oil on the truck. And he really didn't want to, he was like, I don't think I want to ever be a mechanic. And then he joined the Marine Corps and he wanted to be air traffic control. Too. And I don't think they had any openings for that. And he ended up picking aviation maintenance. and, and he got Ospreys. I tried to get him on 53s. We were going to try that because, again, best aircraft in the Marine Corps.
If you say so.
Yeah. So, but, it didn't work out. He got Ospreys. He's a mechanic. He couldn't swim in boot camp, so he didn't get to be a crew chief. So that's a whole nother story there. But
so does that mean he can, how does enlighten us on the whole process of becoming a crew chief or?
Well, I'm not real sure now because, it has been a while. I've been out for 20 years, coming up on 21 years, but, crew chiefs normally, like I said, it's an actual MOS and they go to school in Pensacola. They got to do like all the swim qual stuff and they got to do the SEER training. And they get a lot of aircraft specific training. So it's an actual MOS. They go to school to be a crew chief and, you got to learn, you got to get all your qualifications and know when everything basically become like a plane captain and everything like that. You got to know the aircraft in and out where kind of like is everybody else, like mechanics and, airframes and all of us, everybody else, we kind of get like the basic information in school and then they send us to the fleet and that's where you really learn the aircraft. So where a crew chief comes out with actual flight time already.
So whenever the guys I dealt with, there was always 3 people in the helo in the back, not excluding the pilots.
Yeah, you're talking about a 5-man crew.
Yeah. So what's the what's the makeup of the back of a helo?
Normally, if it's 3 in the back, is normal. And again, I don't know what it is now, but normal would be just a crew chief and an AOAG, an aerial observer gunner, and and if you have 3 back there, normally it's going to be like 1 crew chief and 2 observers.
Okay.
So
we had the way it looked like for us was we had the crew chief and then we had the gunner, which was always on the door over there. And then we always had the guy that had the gun in the back.
Yeah.
But this was also during, combat times. So
yeah. And that's what it is. Normally in a situation like that, you're going to have somebody manning a tail gun. So you're going to have the extra guy, but in a normal situation, you have the crew chief taking the right side of the aircraft, the gunner taking the left side. And then like for external operations, that's where you can have 3 in the back again, because you'll have 1 guy laying on the floor looking out the hole.
Yeah.
And then somebody on each side of the aircraft watching out also.
Yeah. They don't like to listen to us. I don't know what it is. Every time we ever, as a red patcher, as 81, we try to direct the people as much as possible, but it always ends up, just becoming one of these things where we're telling them to go one way and whoever's laying on the floor, they're just like,
Yeah. And sometimes that comes down to the pilot because, you got to realize, especially with the 53, you're hovering a fucking, average weight, 35,000 pound helicopter, 20 feet off the ground. That's not very stable. So we're trying to maintain a hover and it doesn't take much to start sliding one direction. You're telling the pilot to come back the other way and they start coming back. Oh, it's too far. Go back.
Yeah. I just think the ground guides for what we do are they're kind of obsolete. We don't really need them, but
and a lot of times it's that, like we're laying in the floor looking out this big hole down at y'all.
Yeah.
And you got a guy standing out front looking at the pilots. We're not even looking at that guy. The pilots are trying to look at him, but trying to listen to us, telling the pilot, hey, slide right 5 feet.
Yeah.
But the guy on the ground in the front saying, no, hold steady. But we're looking down going, no, I can tell we're, so we're not even, it's kind of like crew coordination, but everybody's not on microphones. We're not all talking together. So the pilots are just like, okay, well, we're going to listen to our guys in the back.
Whenever I started becoming like the safety NCO and I started getting higher billets for these HSTs, I would just, I would stand underneath it and I would just look up at the ground guide. At the crew chief and, I tell them, just, come over this way a little bit, stay wherever. Cause, everything gets relayed from one person to the next. So there's a delay in that and it doesn't really help the guys that are underneath it. But I think probably the funnest experiences I've ever had while I was in was by far, doing the external lifts. I was able to, there's something that's so serene, so peaceful about just standing underneath, one of these huge helicopters. And it's like the eye of a hurricane. It's very beautiful. And whenever you get in Iraq, you have this like static discharge of all these sand particles that are coming off. And it's like they hit the blades and it's just this beautiful spark. And all your senses, they're just you can't hear anything. So you're just kind of deaf and you're just kind of observing everything that goes around. And sometimes you have the ones that have like the the I don't know, whatever, the light up things on the blades. So it just looks like this beautiful, like, I don't know. I mean, the only way you can ever really experience this is if you do it. And I mean, I've had some pretty good times. I had to chew out this one crew chief on a freaking 47 once because their techniques are much different. They're donkey dicks. Like they hang very close to the bird, and ours hang like, I don't know what, 8 feet or some shit. Yeah,
ours is pretty long.
Yeah, theirs is maybe a foot out of the helo. And the last time I did one, they came on top of this. No, it was a practice Humvee, something that's really outdated, really old, and they came all the way down and bent the frame because they landed on it because I guess they were trying to listen to us, but they were stupid, man. They were doing some really dumb shit, and I was in the Humvee. I was like, get, as soon as they landed, they got out and they were like trying to tell us that we need to communicate better. And I was like, motherfucker, you almost killed all my people. Like, I lit his ass up, man. I was so fucking pissed off. Yeah. It was, but out of everything I've ever done in the military, man, the HSTs were always the best thing that we could have done. I mean, we did a lot of rail ops, we did a lot of port ops, man, but they suck, like you're just moving a bunch of cargo. I mean, it's great whenever we go to the Philippines and shit, because we only work for maybe 4 to 8 days. You get on ship, you unload, and then you have like 30 days to where you're getting per diem. You don't have to do anything. Everybody else is doing field ops. And then you have to load everything back up. It's a great MOS. I think I convinced my little cousin to join. Yeah, it's great. You need any other cards?
No, we already did that.
We did.
If you want to do it again, because I ain't got shit.
Yeah, you do it twice, don't you?
No, we only do it once. I mean, I don't know, man.
I thought you do it twice.
No, I don't know. I think that's a whole different game. We can do it again because, like I said, I ain't got shit.
Yeah, go for it.
You didn't call wild or anything.
You want to call wild?
Sure. While I'm looking at my cards.
Yeah, what's wild? It'll be wild for the rest.
You can do that. You can do this. Like, look, you just pick it up and go. Oh, that sucks. Nines are wild. I ain't got a fucking 9.
I don't either. I don't even think I had one the first time.
Yeah. So, no, if you want to give me more cards, I'll take 2 more.
2 more.
I think I just threw away the 2 you gave me. They didn't do shit for me. These didn't really either, but
I'm gonna take 2 as well. I'll be damned.
Draw the same thing.
Oh yeah.
It don't sound good. I got some poker chips over here somewhere.
We ain't got nothing to bet on. Just bourbon.
Right?
Some damn good bourbon.
Yeah. So no, I had fun in the Marine Corps. It was
I did too. What made you get out?
Oh man, I really don't know. I broke my arm, had surgery.
How'd you break your arm?
Being dumb. Got pinned between a vehicle. Had to have surgery on it. And they were like, talking about how basically handicapped I was going to be. Oh shit, I ain't even show mine. I got a pair of queens.
I got 4 4s.
Yeah, 3 4s.
That's wild.
Wait, that's a 9. That's right. Okay.
That's wild, buddy.
Yeah. So no, broke my arm, had to have surgery, had to do rehab, all kinds of fun stuff. And, they were telling me about what I wasn't going to be able to do anymore. And
were you a staff sergeant whenever you broke your arm?
I think I picked up staff sergeant right after I broke my arm. And, so basically it was time for like a B billet. I knew I wouldn't be able to do a drill instructor, probably wouldn't be able to do security guard, nothing like that. It was going to be like, I'm going to be a recruiter. And at the time there was nothing going on. This was 99 to 2000.
Yeah.
There wasn't really a whole lot going on in the Marine Corps. We were just fucking.
Well, not that was public.
Yeah.
We were in Afghanistan though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there were little things we're doing because it was 99 when we bombed one of Osama bin Laden's training camps and they locked everything down on all bases. I remember that, coming to work one morning and like we had to park down the road and walk in, show our ID, all kinds of stuff. And it was like, oh, what happened? So there were little things like that, but there was nothing major. And it was kind of getting boring because I'd been in for almost 6 years. And, after surgery and all this stuff, they were like, didn't know if I was going to get to fly anymore. And, just little things like that. And I was like, you know what? I think I was like, I'm just going to get out, because it was, like I said, it was kind of boring at the time. We'd done a few things, done this and that, and it just didn't really seem like a whole lot going on. And so I just decided, I just decided to get out, even though, for the majority of my time, I was going to be a lifer. I was going to re-enlist and just do the whole at least 20 and go from there. But I don't know. All that was going on. I was just like, I'm going to get out. So,
yeah.
And that's what I did.
You got out in 2000?
Yep. 2000. So it was,
man, one more year.
Yeah. Well, exactly. That's why I was like, oh man. So, but I mean, I met my wife right after I got out. And
where'd you meet her at?
In a club in Austin. So she was drunk. She couldn't see straight. She saw me, thought I looked a lot better than I probably did, and, it all went downhill for her from there. So, we ended up with 3 kids and so here 21 years later. So
that is a lot of kids.
Yeah. I had to keep her drunk for a while so she wouldn't leave me, cause she'd sober up and see what I really look like and be like, oh shit. Had to keep the beer goggles on her basically. So,
I mean, that's what we all do, isn't it?
Oh yeah. So yeah, I got out. I got out a little bit early because I had enough leave built up. So I took terminal leave. So that would have been like the end of May to June of 2000. I got out.
Oh, yeah.
Alrighty.
Yeah. So it seems like, did you do anything fun while you were in?
Man, I did a lot of fun stuff while I was in. I mean, granted, like I said, I don't know if I've said or not. I think you mentioned, we were never full combat because, 94 to 2000, there wasn't a whole lot going on, but I mean, we did a lot of peacekeeping stuff, went a bunch of different places. So, I mean, I got over 2 years of sea time, which was very fun.
That's a lot of sea time, man.
Oh yeah. Well, old Corps, that's how we were.
21st MEU?
Yeah. Well, I did, I was with 24th, 26th, and actually I was a 26th twice. So I did 26th to 24th and then 26th again. So, but back in the day when there was nothing going on, that's what we did. We just did a bunch of MEU deployments,
You got you some sea time.
Yeah. Got to see, like I said, got to see a whole bunch of places I probably would have never got to see any other time. So
like where?
Pretty much everywhere in the Med, Spain, Israel, Italy, Greece, Turkey, Rome, even though that's kind of.
Well, Israel.
Yeah. Israel. Went to Israel a few times.
Yeah.
So
they,
actually we were in Israel when, the prime minister that year got assassinated. I think it was Rabin or something.
I have no idea.
Because Netanyahu's who's in now, right?
Yeah.
And I want to say it was like Ishash Rabin or something. It was somebody like that, but we pulled in right as he got assassinated. And then basically we couldn't get off the ship. We just sat in port for like a week.
Oh man, that sucks.
Yeah, it did. So
what do you do from there? Kick rocks?
Yeah, right. We scrubbed the aircraft, cleaned the ship, stuff like that. I think they eventually let us off, but because we went to Israel a few times, and because a couple times we went land base, we went to some of their bases and stayed there for like a week or two, and did exercises with them and did stuff. But it was pretty fun, even though most of that stuff's like out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
So,
well, you ready to show?
I guess
I got 2 pairs.
Well,
Ace. River is 8 of heart, ace of spades, 10 of hearts, 10 of diamonds, and 7 of clubs.
I got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, you got a straight.
Yeah, I got a straight.
There
Or I
you
got
go.
a pair of 7s, got a pair of 10s, 2 pair.
Yeah, I think you beat me. I think that straight beats me.
Would you have a pair of?
I had a pair of aces. I had 2 pair, but you have. I mean, my 2 pair would have beat yours, but I think that straight beats.
Yeah, I think the straight.
Yeah. Look
So
at you.
It's been a while. So.
Should start playing strip poker.
Shit. I'm going to go put more clothes on then. I think you said that because you saw how bad I play. You're like, oh, yeah, we'll get him naked quick.
Oh, man. So, you know, like I was saying earlier, for all of you who are tuning in, you're watching this, thank you so much. We really appreciate anybody that does watch this. But one of the reasons why I wanted to bring on Richard or Avery, Dickman, whatever you call yourself.
Yeah.
He's a really good guy. And now he lives in Waco, Texas. And he has this little business called Avery Irrigation. And I might try to put a quick video in here, just some of the stuff we did a while back, just to kind of get a glimpse of what he does.
We got a broken pipe right down here that they trenched through when they laid the septic lines. So I got to dig it up to where I can put a new piece in. The fun part of the job is digging without breaking something else. I'm pretty sure they'd be upset with me if I broke their new septic pipe.
And that's what this whole purple line is?
Yep. Again, it just designates septic, sewer. That way if you dig it up, you know, oh, that's not what I'm looking for unless you're looking for sewer.
Is this just something that's normal for your job?
Yeah, kind of.
Like, what's the majority of your calls for?
Usually like broken sprinkler heads or stuff not turning on and running the way it's supposed to. Probably those 2 things I would say were probably the biggest. You get like people calling, they got brown spots in their yard or something, and they might call and be like, hey, it's not watering properly. And go out there and turn it on, find a broken head. Do get calls for, you know, installing whole new systems, new houses, or whatever the case may be.
Do you normally have to dig this up yourself, or?
Yep. Every now and then I'll get a customer that has dug it up already and been like, oh, I can't fix that. But most of the time they just call me. You know, if you're going to pay somebody to do it, you're going to pay them to do the whole thing. So. But.
What's the majority of your calls? Just like on a day-to-day?
Probably something broken. It could be anything from something in the ground to the controller in the garage. You know, sometimes the controllers get old and quit working, or, you know, power surge might make them short out. You know, sometimes you just get calls where people just want you to come look at their system, make sure everything's working properly, you know, before something breaks. You know, kind of like preventive maintenance, come out, check everything. So, but yeah, the majority would be something's broken. Somebody walked outside and there's a bunch of water going down the road or something like that, and they notice a broken sprinkler head.
So if you have this sewer pipe here, what's this other one down there that you're looking at?
That's an actual irrigation line. Goes to a sprinkler. And that's, at least I hope it is. That's what they told me it was. But that would be the only thing out here, especially this size pipe. So,
is this something that's new, or do you have to cut it?
This one here?
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna have to cut it and put a new piece in. As you can see, when they ran the trencher through here, it broke it. So, which is common. I mean, a lot of times people don't have layouts of the irrigation system to know where everything is. So when people come to do work like this, they just have to trench through and find it.
Yeah.
You know, because there's no way of knowing. You know, it's not like locate services for the wires and cables and stuff that are underground.
Did you find that irrigation line, or just somebody else?
They did. When they trenched it, he marked, because that's what the flag was there for, is he marked it that they broke a line. So, which is good because a lot of companies will come out, do the work, just bury it back, and then leave the homeowner to call me. And then I just have to turn things on and wait until I see water shooting up out of the ground and go, there's a broken pipe.
What's the most frustrating thing that you usually deal with?
Probably what I just explained.
Just
Other contractors, you get fence people that will put fence posts in the ground. And it's one thing if you don't realize you broke the pipe, but most of the time it's kind of hard to break a pipe and not realize it because they are kind of hard. So, but you have some again, that will just bury it back. They'll just like, I'll leave it for them to worry about, you know. But so with them, he actually, well, he's got to, they're coming out to inspect his part today. So that's one reason it's not buried. That's why he was trying to get me out here as quick as I could. But, yeah, it's very common for contractors to break stuff, and because it's not part of their job, not worry about it and leave it. And then you got to come back and do the extra work of finding it and everything else. Because some of them are worried about the liability. They don't want the homeowner to be like, oh, well, you got to pay to fix it.
how long have you been doing this for?
You say how long?
Yeah, a few years now.
I got my license in 2010, I think it was.
So this is just a clogged sprinkler head?
Yep. Hold on, I'll show you exactly. I think with this, most people would probably just replace the head. But,
Why don't you? Saving money?
yeah, basically. And he don't even care, you know? Like, see all that?
Oh yeah.
It's just scale and stuff from the water.
Just wasn't letting that spring pop out?
Yep. Well, I'm going to pull the screen out in just a second.
Oh geez.
So, yeah.
That's a lot of dirt.
Well, see, and if you feel it, it's more like a rock. You know?
Is that the clay?
It's just, the stuff from the water,
Yeah.
and it builds up. But yeah, I don't see the point in replacing it. I mean, if I can just do this, because, I mean, granted, I'm at this point to where I could just drop a new one in and be like, oh, I'm done. But, again, it's like, the head itself is good. It wasn't leaking real bad, so. But there's nothing saying I don't put it back together and it doesn't start leaking real bad. Because some of these, especially this style head, they leak. I don't like them that much. So, as you can see, it's only got like that little bit of thread to hold it together,
yeah.
and there's just a tiny little seal in there.
Sounds pretty gritty.
Yeah. And this thing, he's got a really sandy soil. So that's why normally I don't like them. I would rather it just pull apart when I try to take it out, because then it keeps all the other stuff from falling down in there. Because then this area is not going to get adequate water compared to this one.
Yeah.
But what you got to look at is also, like say this head is doing 180 degrees. So every minute over 180 degrees, it's putting out, say, 3 gallons a minute. Well, if you have this one up here on a corner and it's only going 90 degrees, you don't want to put out 3 gallons a minute because you're covering less area, putting out more water. So you would drop down to normally half. Like if you're doing 3 on this one, you'd want to do 1.5 on the other. That way you're still getting even amounts of water.
A lot more math to it than I thought it would be.
There's a shit ton of math to irrigation.
There's a lot more walking to this than I thought it'd be.
Oh, there's a ton.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I'm saying. I'll walk just doing like this. Like if I have to do a bunch of repairs and stuff,
Yeah.
like just out here, I can walk 5-10 miles.
I mean, it's a pretty
lot
big
of times,
property. But
like especially before I got this, if that head was bad, like that head was bad, I would have to walk all the way back down there and turn it off.
yeah.
So, you know, then I'd come up here, fix it, then I have to walk all the way back down there and turn it back on. That's why $600 for this thing is worth it. This is a smaller head, so it's not putting out as much water, even though it's still spraying 180.
So what happened with this one?
It's just not turning on, so I gotta figure out why. Is it electrical or is it the diaphragm? Yeah, there they come. Well, that's good, because I don't want to have to dig this fucking valve up.
How do you go about fixing that?
Well, first I got to figure out, is it just these connections are all corroded? Is that off? Okay.
What was it?
There's a device called an adsorbed,
Yeah.
where you have situations like this where you don't want to run a new wire. We'd have to go from all the way under there, under this deck somehow, across the pond, over to here. So you wire a module into that and a receiver into this, and basically it uses the same wire, kind of like I was explaining the 2-wire system.
Yeah.
Basically what it does is it sends a signal through the wire, and the receiver over here differentiates which valve to turn on. You can wire 2 valves into 1 wire, so a whole lot easier than, again, trying to run a wire from way over there. You know, I'm not crawling under that deck. I'm not scared or anything, but I'm not crawling under that deck, especially with the number of copperheads out here.
What's this called again?
Valve locator.
A valve locator?
Yep. All right, what I want you to do is hold these 2 clips. I'm gonna flip the switch and you tell me the first thing that comes to mind.
No thanks. Oh, it comes with headphones and everything.
Yeah, for deaf people like me, but I don't ever wear them.
So it's made for people like you, but you don't wear them.
Well, I can usually hear the beeping good enough. See, all this does is send an electrical signal through the wire. And my little handy dandy wand here traces it. See, you have the beeping, which means I'm close to the wire. It stops beeping, I'm on top of the wire. And then I move to the other side, it'll start beeping again. I always thought that wire, one of these wires goes across that deck.
You look like a madman.
Dude, I go to the city parks and do this, man. I have people like watching me like, what are you doing?
I mean, this is pretty entertaining to watch, though. If you're not the guy doing it. Yeah, it just stops right there.
And I mean, there's nothing saying that this wasn't added later, and there's not a valve box right here. Very possible.
That sucks.
I've seen it plenty of times. See, like one thing I can do. Wire's right there. Right there. Wire's right there. Well, it's buried right here somewhere.
Yeah, it looks like they just put it right
What
behind.
it is, it was a temporary fix. They probably, I think they, if I remember, they added this zone after everything was done. So,
Well, how do you know if it's working on this side over here?
because I'm not getting a signal on that wire, so that tells me it's probably broken somewhere right here. You know, it's like powers of deduction, basically. Now, I'm not 100% guaranteed that that's the wire, but I don't know why there would be another wire like this running right here. And look, this thing would be fucking just beeping like crazy.
It also looks like it was red, but it's just got really
Yeah, it's just sun faded. No. You can look at that and tell it's an old cut. Something cut that.
So how's this been coming on?
Huh?
How's this section been
They
coming
probably
on?
did something recently in here.
Oh. And they just haven't noticed the sprinklers weren't coming on?
Yeah, it could be that too. Will you hand me that little trowel?
Yeah. Oh, my old ass back.
Show me a back.
I'm sure you know more than I do.
Yep, here's the other end.
You think you can just splice those together?
Yep, sure can. As long as I have enough wire, otherwise I'll just add a section of wire. Let me go get my wire splices. Yeah, it's just a typical wire splice.
Yeah.
I'm just doing a little bit extra by actually twisting the wires together. Because technically when I screw this on, it'll twist the wires together. Just want to make sure. And these are special. I don't know if you can see
And
that.
you don't even have to be good at screwing.
Yeah. But can you see that squirting out?
Yep.
Screwing and squirting out. It's like dielectric grease basically, which makes these waterproof connectors. That way water can't get up in there. So that's what we use for irrigation.
One of the reasons why I wanted to bring on Avery, Richard, whatever he wants to go by. He lives in Waco, Texas now. And in Waco, he has this little business called Avery Irrigation. He's a licensed irrigator, I believe so.
Yep.
Yeah,
State of Texas.
For the state of Texas. And we, before this, we kind of ran around with him for a little bit to see what he does and everything. And I kind of, as I was observing everything he was doing, as he kind of explained everything, which he does a great job of explaining. And, you know, if he ever become a teacher, I think he'd be a great teacher for a lot of you guys. But I think as of right now, he's just going to keep running his business. But what I kind of observed as we were doing this was that I noticed there's a lot of almost tranquility, more. I wanted to compare it to whenever you're in boot camp. You know, maybe, I don't know if they did this for everybody, but we have to like make the squares and everything right outside the barracks with the rakes. It's almost like a Zen garden type thing, but you know, you see him and he's by himself. He's out in the elements. He's not really dealing with too many people. He has customers that he deals with, but he doesn't have constant, you know, people behind his back telling him this needs to be done. This needs to be done. It's one of those things that you're going to do this. You have this amount of time to do it. And if you learn right, then, you know, you have a good feel of what that's going to be. How long it's going to take to do one or a job, what that job's going to look like. But for somebody who might have PTSD or severe depression, anxiety, any of those, anything that, you know, you're kind of stuck in, maybe you're still in, maybe you're looking for a job, maybe you don't know what you want to do, but this could be a very good alternative. And if you wanted to start a business, it's very plausible to do this. You can use your GI Bill benefits. Honestly, it's for those people who can't deal with a whole lot of people, this might be the best alternative, especially since you get to be outdoors. Now in Texas, it gets hot as hell, but I think you should look more into it, but I'm going to let him explain a little more of what it looks like. So if you want to just, I don't know, what did it take for you to start your business?
Well, for me, getting into irrigation, really, I wasn't looking to get into irrigation. I was going to do landscaping because growing up, my father was an arborist and did landscaping. And as a kid, my brother and I would help him work. And so when I first got out of the Marine Corps, I continued doing aviation for a government contractor for a couple of years, or I think it was about 6 more years. And coming out of the, especially the Marine Corps, the aviation community, it was totally different than doing civilian, especially not trying to bash the Army, but, Army aviation. They're a whole different group of people. And so I did it for 6 years, and again, I think a lot of it wasn't so much being, Army side of things. I think it was just being civilian. There's, the pride and everything isn't there because it's still more of kind of a job.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It paid good, had great benefits, everything like that. But it just wasn't there. And that's where I started deciding that, hey, I'm going to go back to school. I'm going to use my GI benefits. Never really thought about it. I went and talked to the VA, and then I went and talked to, here in Waco is TSTC. So I went and talked to them and looked at some things and found out what I could do, and decided, hey, this is what I'm going to do. And I decided, going around talking to a couple of different programs at TSTC, they had a landscaping program at the time, and that's what I decided to go into. And part of the landscaping program was irrigation. And once I started learning irrigation, I really enjoyed it. And I thought, this is something different. I can see your cards, but, not that clear. So I decided to do the landscaping, got into irrigation. And then as I was finishing school there with an associate's in landscape management, I started doing it. At the time, I was doing irrigation and landscaping. But the problem with landscaping is anybody can do it. It's hard to explain to some people that, hey, I have a degree in landscape management, and this is why we should use these plants. Most people look at the price when you start telling them stuff like, oh, well, this is what it's going to cost. And they go, oh, well, this guy can do almost the same thing for half that price. And he's just going to Lowe's and buying a bunch of plants, putting them in the ground, and they might live. So I kind of started pulling away from landscaping and doing more irrigation, because as an irrigator, you have to have a license through the state. Not everybody has a license. There's a lot of people doing it without license, but to do it technically legally, because it's like a Class B misdemeanor, I think, to do irrigation in the state of Texas without an irrigation license. So, and that could be wrong. I know it is, a misdemeanor of some level.
Yeah.
To do irrigation without a license, but, and it costs money to maintain a license, but because of water conservation and everything else that goes along with irrigation, because, you're using potable water that's going into people's houses that they could drink and diverting it into landscape irrigation, you want to make sure that water can't be pulled back into the drinking water. So there's a whole lot of things that have to go involved. So they want you to maintain a license, just like a plumber and everybody else. So, went to school, got my license, and the VA actually paid for me to take and get my license. So they covered all that. I'm a licensed irrigator. And all along, kind of when I started school, I decided, hey, I'm going to work for myself. Because I don't know why you'd want to go on this and not work for yourself. There's a lot involved, taxes, and a lot of things that go on with having your own little business. With me, it's just me. I don't employ nobody, because with taxes and unemployment and all the disability insurance, all the other stuff you have to have as a big business to employ people, I just don't want to do. And plus I do this more because I want to do it. Not that I want to have somebody do it for me.
Yeah.
So I actually enjoy doing it, to go out and talk to people, and a lot of it is just normally repairs. Hey, it's not watering, something like that. It sounds simple, but there's so many things that could be involved with, okay, why is this not watering over here? Could it be electrical? Could it be broken pipes? Can it be a bad valve? There's so many little things, and you got to kind of troubleshoot. And a lot of it, once you learn this stuff, it's really simple, and you can go out and you can fix it real quick and then move on to the next person, all the way up to doing a full installation of a job where people go, hey, I just had this house built and I need an irrigation system, and you got to throw it in from scratch. So, but there's so many ways you can go with it. And kind of like you were saying too, like with me working by myself, it is, I'm kind of off in my own little world a lot of times, because the customer comes out and they tell me this is the problem or this is what we need. And then they go back in the house and I'm out there by myself with my headphones in, listening to music, just kind of zoning out, doing my thing, because, a lot of it's, once you do it so much, it's kind of easy, but it's fun. And it's like very low stress most of the time. You go out and do a lot of stuff and you're just like, oh, okay, I'm just going to do this, and you do it. So you're off in your own world doing your thing, and you kind of do some of the stuff on autopilot. And it is kind of, some of it to me, like I've always been kind of weird in this, where it's relaxing to me, kind of like mowing grass. I'm the kind of person that likes to mow grass because it's relaxing to me. So, but that's kind of how the business is. And there's not a whole lot, getting started. There's not a whole lot. I mean, really for irrigation, you got to have like a couple of shovels, maybe a rake, and a couple other small tools and some money to buy parts. And you go out and you start doing work for people. And of course, this is after you get your license.
Yeah. What do you think that, well, let's put a pin in that just so hopefully I don't forget. But, so like you were saying a while ago, this was, I don't know, over a year, something along the lines of like, you wanted to do something where, you didn't want to really bring on too many people because like you're more of a perfectionist and it's not, it's, you probably couldn't grow your business like pretty big because you're pretty well known around here. You've done jobs for the city, like, people know you. And on the trip that I've always heard these great things, but I remember whenever we were going on these trips and I was, kind of on his side, taping some of this and I wish I would have got this, but, we went to this elderly couple's house and their whole system was, the panel,
The controller.
Yeah, that controller was probably like from the 70s. I mean, it was really,
It wasn't quite that old, but it was old.
It was,
and they had their system turned off for over a year. They just unplugged everything, turned everything off, and just didn't use it.
Well, whenever we went over there, there was another guy that was probably just as old, if not older. But I watched him tell him like what was wrong, trying to tell him what pieces together and everything. Of course, he didn't listen. He was real stubborn. It was real funny to watch. I almost hit a button, but so we, just seeing that, and I've seen you do this a couple of times where whenever you decide that, you go to a job and you're like, hey, this is what needs to be. You're pretty generous when it goes. You just don't see that type of business mentality too often these days. Like I think a lot of people see, this corporate greed or whatever.
Yeah.
Which, it is what it is.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it too is like, especially coming out of the military, it's really easy to be an asshole to people.
Yeah.
Military, we kind of expect that everybody's going to be an asshole to you.
Yeah. But you're doing you're doing something that not a lot of people do. Not a lot of people would tell you, this is what you need to buy. This is what you need to get. This is how you do it. You explain this whole process and you even gave them a couple of fittings for it.
And a lot of times that's what it is. Cause like you can help people sometimes and just tell them what they need to do. Cause everybody nowadays is hands-on. A lot of people want to do everything themselves. I mean, it's like anybody else. Hey, if I can fix this myself, I'd rather fix it myself than pay somebody to come out and do it. And with Google and everything nowadays, there's pretty much nothing you can't Google and it's not going to give you a step-by-step process.
That guy was like freaking 80 years old.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he was old, but you can give somebody that kind of information. You can tell them, hey, look, this is all you need to do and you can fix it. And they might go out and fix it and they go, oh, okay, well, I ain't got to pay this guy. But then something really major breaks or something they can't figure out and they're going to remember you and they're going to call you.
Yeah.
So, like in a situation like that, we were next door. It was the neighbor. Mm-hmm. We were looking at theirs and he asked a simple question and I was like, oh yeah, this is all you got to do. Go get this. And I think I did give him a couple fittings out of the trailer.
Yeah, you did.
And I told him, hey, this is all you got to do right here. And and I even told him, hey, if it turns out you can't handle it, give me a call.
Yeah.
And I think I ended up I went back to his house a couple months later because he had a whole separate problem with something else.
Well, they also had the plumbing kind of screwed up.
Yeah. And he had one of those systems that was kind of thrown in by somebody who kind of sort of somewhat knew how to do irrigation. And you see that a lot.
Yeah.
Because irrigation is really simple in a manner, but there's a lot of things that go into it, that you have to take in consideration for like pipe size and everything like that. And how many components you can have in one system, in one zone before it's not going to work properly. And a lot of people don't know that. They just go, okay, we're going to put this many heads in this one zone and it'll work.
Yeah.
And, it doesn't, I mean, it might work, but it's not going to work properly, and it's not going to work forever like that, because you're going to wear things out.
Well, that's where a lot of math comes in, right?
Yeah,
because you have to look into what strength PVC it is, and the diameter it is.
Yep.
And the flow that comes into it. I mean, you were kind of explaining all this.
Yeah, there's a lot of math involved in irrigation. We call it hydraulics, you know, because you got to know how much each size PVC is only going to flow so much water before you start running into problems. And so when you start flowing so much water, you got to increase your size of PVC and things like that. And, you know, because you have the water creates friction on the pipe, it's going to slow the water down moving. You know, there's all kinds of little things like that. There's a lot of math involved in irrigation. So, and a lot of it has to do with how much water you can flow and at what pressure.
How hard do you think that math is?
I mean, a lot of it is really basic math. I mean, it's, you know, there's some fractions and stuff like that, but it's really just addition, subtraction, multiplication, and some fractions.
Just so it's not a deterrent to anybody. I mean,
no, I mean, if you can do like elementary math, I mean, middle school kind of math, you know, I mean, I'm pretty good at math. I'm decent at math, but I was no genius in school.
Yeah.
And I have nobody. Yeah. You know, if my recruiter saw this, I always think about when I seen him and I told him I was getting out, and he was like, and that was my plan, was to get out and go to school. And he was like, I seen you in school, remember? And I was like, yeah, it's different now. But, you know, yeah, I mean, if you can, like, fundamental math is really all it is. You know, it's learning how to, you know, there's a little bit of ratios, there's a little bit of fractions, and then really just addition, subtraction, multiplication. And that's it. You know, you're not getting into, you know, there, you know, might be a little bit of geometry involved in like doing some of the technical stuff, but it's still real basic stuff. You don't have to be a math genius to do it, you know? So.
Yeah. But I mean, whenever we went on this, and I guess this comes from a few other people as well, whenever we were going along. Well, I mean, I got a lot of, I don't want to say references, but just from what other people were saying. And then as we were doing this, there was a lot of things that people said that just kind of stuck out to me, in the sense where you kind of, it was so I guess what I would consider quintessential Texas is that hospitality, that you know, good boy nature thing, that you know, I'm going to help out my neighbor. And I'm from a smaller town, so you know, we were kind of used to that. But whenever I finally got over here, I didn't really see a whole lot of that existed. And it was whenever I ran across you, whenever, you know, people were telling me about, you know, how you operated and all these other things, I was like, I don't know, man, I'd have to see it to believe it. And then it's not, you know, like, you're a genuinely good guy. Like, I mean, not to be soft or anything. Like, just, I mean, you can see that you care about people, and that's went over a lot, because I think a lot of people, you know, I've never heard like anybody ever talk shit about you or your business, because they're like, no, he's just a fucking good guy.
Well, that's one thing. Like, I always tell people, I'm not trying to get rich by doing this. You know, I don't know if you could get rich in this business. I mean, you could. I mean, there's some larger companies here in Waco that do this, and you know, they employ hundreds of people or whatever, but
that's a full house, by the way.
Yeah. So I'll let mine out in a minute, but yeah, mine is like, I just want to live comfortably. I'm not trying to go out and charge people, you know, the most I can charge. What can I charge them and not have them go, oh my God, you need to get off my property.
Yeah.
You know, my thing is, cause I mean, it's just like for anybody else's way I look at it. You don't, you know, a pipe breaks at your house and you got to have your sink fixed or something. You don't want the plumber to come out and charge you, you know, everybody says an arm and a leg, you know, cause that's what you expect.
Well, yeah, that's a damn good point. So I've seen plumbers that just come out and charge a fee just for you to come out. And I witnessed numerous times wherever he came out to a property, inspected, and was like, hey, no, it's all good.
Yeah.
Cause like, I mean, like to me, I would say if I saw that, if somebody came to me and they were like, hey, you know, don't worry about this, I would come back to that because I look at it as like you did me a service, but you know, like a friend type thing. I don't know how that came across to you, but
yeah. And that's kind of what it is. Cause like I tell people all the time, call me when you have a real problem. You know, if you want to pay me, you know,
how'd you get another straight? I mean, my full house still wins, but
I don't know. It's what you keep dealing. You're the one dealing. But no, I mean, I tell people that all the time because I mean, sometimes I do have to charge for showing up.
yeah,
Because if I have to drive like 45 minutes to get there, you know, that's gas and that's everything like that. And I tell people, but still, I don't even charge them like a full, you know, fee for showing up. If I just show up and it's something simple, I'm like, basically give me some gas money.
Yeah.
You know, but like we're talking about plumbers, most plumbing companies will charge you a minimum of like $100 just for showing up. If they show up and go, oh, we just got to tighten this right here, that's $100. They don't care. It's just $100.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, everybody like I have a fee for just showing up. But normally that's kind of like tied into, okay, I'm going to show up and then I'm going to inspect this and we're going to do this. And then I'm going to tell you what you need. And then we'll talk about other fees.
Yeah. But like the whole point of it is that you're reasonable when it comes to it. You're not.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I'm not trying to like rob people.
Yeah.
Like, and because that's what everybody expects. Oh man, I'm calling somebody out to do this. And you know, oh, it's going to be this. And I'm like, okay, well, I came out and this is all I had to do. So I mean, like, sometimes it just doesn't feel right to just like, oh yeah, I came out here and I changed this one little piece out. I can't charge you $100 for that. I don't feel unless I drove an hour to get there, you know, because of the way Waco is set up, you know, there are communities outside of Waco that don't have people to do irrigation. And I get calls all the time. They're like, hey, will you come out to this area? And I have to tell them, yeah, I do, but I got to charge you just for coming.
Yeah.
You know, because it is, yeah. So yeah, it's, you know, because I am driving, you know, to get there, you know, and it's like, you know, it takes me an hour to drive there, you know, where I could have been on this job doing this and making money in that hour.
Yeah, but that's reasonable. That's
and most people expect that. Like when I tell people that, like, oh, you want me to drive 45 minutes to the other side of Whitney, you know, I'm going to have to charge you. And they're like, oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
what, I mean, when you're actually working, how does that, I mean, just kind of take me through what it's like on a normal job, like the thought processes that are going through your head. The, you know, I mean, just the feeling of what it's like to do your job.
Oh, I mean, I think it's probably like any other job. You know, you have your happy days, you know, where it's like, oh, the weather's great and it's not hot and it's not humid. And, you know, you go out to a job and you're like, hoo-hoo, I'm playing in the sprinklers, you know, and I'm, you know, because in the summer, that's kind of how I feel. I'm like, oh, you know, it's 110 degrees out here, but I'm walking around in the sprinklers, getting sprayed and, you know, getting paid to do this. It's kind of like being at a water park. But I mean, most jobs are all different. It's not very often you go to a job that's the same. And they kind of are because like for what I'm doing, a lot of them is, I'm going out because somebody has a broken pipe or somebody, you know, their area is not getting watered. Yeah. I mean, every job is kind of different, but a lot of jobs are the same because I mean, they kind of, you know, most people are calling you because they have a problem and there's only so many problems you're going to have in an irrigation system. And just knowing what those problems can be and how to fix them quickly is usually, you know, what makes it better. Cause you don't want to go out there and again, you know, have to go, oh, wow, well, why is this not working? You know, to have the experience and the knowledge to go, well, you know, the last 10 times I've seen this happen was because of this. So,
yeah. I mean, I don't know. We were kind of talking about this earlier with, like the whole mental health aspect of it. And like we were saying, everybody kind of suffers from some kind of mental illness on some kind of level. Some more severe than others. And, I mean, I'm sure you suffer from some form of something. What is it? I mean, do you feel like what you're doing helps with that? I mean, or I guess more or less, what is it? What do you do to help you in general?
I think a lot of it, like you were saying, like, because I work for myself, by myself. I can't get mad at nobody but myself. So a lot of times it is kind of that, like, you're kind of in your own little world. You get to think of things. If you're having problems or issues with something, I get, and sometimes the alone time isn't a fun time, but sometimes that's where you get to think and work things out. And I don't really have the stress that a lot of people have, because I can only get mad at I can get mad at customers. I mean, you were with me at a couple houses where, it's hard not to like get mad at people, because some people don't grasp things as quick as others, and they don't understand what you're trying to tell them, and they want to keep asking stuff. And, so it's, to kind of keep a level head kind of thing.
Yeah. Like that, the house that you did go to, there was, he kept explaining the same thing over and over again. And they would say, "Oh, well, is it this?" And he was like, "No."
Well, how much is it going to cost?
Yeah. And he kept saying, "Well, I can't give you an estimate on that, because
we don't
know what's wrong with this, or what's wrong with this section, what's wrong with this section. You don't know, your whole backyard has, you don't know how many sections it has. You're only looking at the front yard. There's a whole lot of stuff that goes into it." But one thing you did tell me, and I got to remember that pin that I put in, but one thing you were telling me is that, I just forgot. Oh yeah. So, like how great the pressure is in those pipes, becoming an actual licensed irrigator, knowing that mathematical formula, you're going to create a better product. And I think that that's, kind of interesting, but you also know, having a licensed irrigator is actually going to make you, they're going to do your yard right. You're actually going to get what you need out of it, because you don't want a weak flow at the end of a section, because that's only going to cause, more problems for you. But the ones that actually go out there and do it the right way, I don't know. I've always just, after our whole little adventure with it, I was just pretty intrigued with it. I thought it was a pretty cool job to have.
Yeah. Most people don't realize that, how strict Texas is for irrigation. And, like most homeowners don't realize that, like when somebody comes out and talks to you about irrigation, that they are supposed to be licensed. In the state of Texas, you're not allowed to talk about irrigation basically without having a license.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of things that go with irrigation that most homeowners don't understand, because most people just think, oh, you're watering the grass. That's all it is. What's it? Anybody can do that. So, yeah, that looks good. So
that looks okay.
There's a lot of things that go with irrigation. Like I said, the way the state is on the rules and regulations and everything like that. So, most people don't realize that, and I try to explain it to some people, like having your car, you have something wrong with your car. Let's say you drive a Ford Mustang or something. You have something wrong with your car. You can take it to the Ford dealership, and you're going to take it to the Ford dealership. You're paying top prices. They're going to charge you a lot to get it repaired. Or you can take it down here. Hey, this guy's got this little bitty tiny shop. Yeah. And he might be a great guy.
Little shade tree mechanic.
Yeah. And he might know what he's doing. But do you expect to get charged the same price that you would at the Ford dealership from that guy?
Oh, no.
And then you got to think also with the quality. Okay, what kind of warranty am I going to get? And that's kind of the way I kind of try to explain it to some people with irrigation is, for me, I have to maintain a license. I have to, every 3 years, I have to renew my license. I have to get, CEUs every 3 years. I have to have 24 CEUs to renew my license.
And
there's all this. Say again.
And what are those?
CEUs, the continuing education units, basically college units. So I have to, every 3 years, I have to have 24.
What are some examples of what those are?
It could be anything. They range from there. The state has a whole bunch of them approved, basically. So there's a lot of people you can take them through. It could be anywhere from like troubleshooting irrigation systems to electrical systems on irrigation systems to pump systems and irrigation systems to running an irrigation business. There's so many different things that it can be, but
that's to keep you up to date with what's going on.
Yeah. And a lot of it has to do with rules and regulations at state, because the state is constantly changing the rules and regulations with irrigation as they are with plumbing and electrical and everybody else.
That's straight, baby.
I didn't pay attention to what happened.
Yeah, it's how regulated is the industry?
With the state, technically it's pretty regulated. They pass a lot of rules and regulations. Now, the thing with that is every city and municipality is kind of different on how strong, how bad they want to. There wasn't a 10, was there?
No, but you have 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, the clubs, yeah. So
I think I forget what is that called?
It's a full house, isn't it?
No,
full house is all the same suit, right?
No, that's what I'm trying to think. What's the same suit?
So
I'm stupid. I
but
forgot what it was.
like you go to Austin, like in the summer, they're under water restrictions and everything. You can only water, so many times a week on your day and everything like that. And they actually have people that will go around, the city inspectors that drive around in the mornings looking for people watering, stuff like that. And they'll write you tickets. You get in some of these smaller communities and they just don't care. They might care, but not to the point like they can't afford to have inspectors and everybody like that. They're going to go out and look and see when people are watering, how much they're watering. A flush. There you go.
How coincidental.
Flush
out those pipes.
Yeah. So, because laying pipe's my thing. So every city is different, I heard that one. That is him back there. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
probably.
Should I just start screaming and cussing at him?
Shut the fuck up. Nah, that's fine.
Hey, wait. It's fucking 11 o'clock. He should be in bed.
Yeah, so should you.
No, wait, I'm going to text him and be like, take your ass to bed. He probably ain't got his phone.
Well, Austin has to, they kind of have to worry a little bit more because they're on the Senate.
They're running off the Edwards Aquifer.
Yeah, the Edwards Aquifer.
How much water they're drawing out of that on a daily basis and everything like that.
Isn't the Edwards connected to San Antonio too?
Yeah, that goes all the way down to San Antonio. If I recall.
That's a lot of water.
Yeah.
And Austin's growing tremendously.
Yeah.
So.
And Austin, if I recall, Austin is actually having to pump water in from other areas to be able to supply enough water.
Yeah, I think so. Oh, he ain't bothering us.
I don't give a shit. He's got school tomorrow.
Go to bed, asshole.
I know. I don't even know if he's got his phone on him. So, but yeah, Austin, San Antonio, all that down there on the Edwards Aquifer, they're very limited on their water. Up here, we're pulling water out of the lakes. We have, what are we on, the Trinity or the Ogallala Aquifer or something like that that's underneath us?
Yeah, I think the Ogallala.
So, I know it's a really big one.
I don't know how to pronounce it, but
yeah, I think it's Ogallala.
Yeah.
Something like that, or the Trinity, or both. I think they connect somewhere close to us, but it's really big. Yeah. So water, the amount of water we have isn't as much of a concern as it is for Austin because they don't really have water pull from anywhere else.
Waco's pretty. I don't know. Waco's pretty even thought. I think there's a good representation of every political background and every race and type. And I enjoy Waco a lot. Just for the fact that, you have within a 90-mile radius, you have Dallas and you have Austin.
Yeah.
You can get to 45 pretty quick.
The thing is, you got to think
but it's pretty centralized. It's on 35, and 35 is the main bloodline from Mexico to Canada.
Yeah.
Then that's one reason why Caterpillar moved out here was just because of that. they were able to build. And whenever people were flying in to Austin to look at their businesses, or Dallas or Fort Worth or whatever, they would travel from Austin to Dallas or Fort Worth or vice versa. And they'd stop in Waco, and they were like, "Yeah, that's a great place. That's why we're building the Amazon facility." Which I personally think that they're going to start with drones.
The delivery.
Yeah, I think they're working. I mean, even whenever I was in college, I remember doing some kind of like research and stuff, and they were really focusing on like the drone aspect. The problem is they can't go like more than 400 feet or something like that.
Yeah, there's an altitude limitation.
Yeah, it's part of the FAA rules. And even if you were to become a licensed drone pilot, if you're like for the ones who want to do drone footage for real estate or to make like good money off of, you actually have to go and take a course. And it's basically it's very similar to the pilot course. So you have to take like a FAA license rule and everything. It's kind of intense, but you can make some pretty good money off of it just because you get that license, and they, you can learn what to charge and everything doing it. But that's also an alternative to whatever you're doing now. But they were talking to having those drone pilots for Amazon. Those guys are going to make a ton of money.
Yeah.
And I think they're like slowly starting to build facilities into those areas that can reach out within, I don't know, 90, 100 miles.
That's one of those things, though, I just don't see how it would work, because imagine the number of drones in the air at one time trying to deliver packages.
Man, you don't even understand half of the technology that's out there with like, look at their robots that they have out there. I mean, they still employ 4,000 people in most warehouses, and they have those robots that are just constantly hauling ass through there because they're all like, I mean, they're not sentient, but the AI that's behind them is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I can't even imagine what they're working on with the drones, because I'm sure that's a concern as well. But for those small town people, getting a package in the same day would be insane to them. I mean, I could see, it's kind of funny, like Futurama, it's like they predict half the shit that exists, but I mean, I could see it happening to where, eventually you purchase something. What was that one movie with, I forgot her name. She voices Leela. She was Peggy Bundy. You know what I'm talking about?
Peggy Bundy?
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? That actress?
Yeah.
I can't remember her name, but she was like the voice or something, but like they would push a button and the food the food would come up. It's Smart House or something. I think it was a Disney movie. But man, like, how great would that be to just buy a bunch of groceries and shit, stick them into like this system, say, hey, I want, it just, you tell it exactly what ingredients you have in stock. You push a button and it either makes it or like it just dispenses everything out for you.
I don't know. That sounds lazy to me. I mean, honestly, you think of the way everything's going, everybody's getting lazy, and that's what they want now.
Yeah, but I mean, what if it was making like a bunch of healthy food? You put a bunch of asparagus in it. It's just like, it tells you if it's gone bad or not. Man, hey, somebody create that.
Well, maybe I need that. Just tell me, hey, you got to eat this within the next 2 days or it's going to go bad. Because that's my thing. I'll go buy some vegetables and forget that shit's in the bottom of the refrigerator. And then I look down there and I'm like, ooh, what is that?
I've got some fucking spinach.
Spinach especially, man. Because that shit, you look at the bottom of that and you're like, ooh.
My spinach is so brown in the bottom of that crisper, man.
It just gets all slimy.
Yeah, it's so fucking gross, man.
Yeah.
I don't want to take it out. I know it's going to fucking smell as soon as I open it.
Yeah, it's like, tomorrow's garbage day. I'm taking it out now.
Yeah, I'll probably take it out before I go to the gym in the morning.
Yeah.
I think tomorrow I'm going to work out harder. That's what I say now, but I'm pretty drunk, so we'll see.
Hey, it's only a couple hours away.
I know. I've had later nights.
Yeah.
It's been a fun night so far, though.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed it. I always enjoy our talks. Yeah, man. Yeah, I know you're not a combat vet, but that's something that I really want to kind of start honing in on. Is that I think there's some people who don't have combat experience, and sometimes I think it makes them feel inadequate because especially in the Marine Corps, because you train to kill all day. Kind of like a brainwash, and then you go in and you don't get to do that.
Well, and that's why I got out in the middle of 2000, and then 9/11 kicks off 2001, all that.
It made you want to go back in?
We definitely, but I had a lot of people that would tell me like, "Oh, you're so lucky you got out just in time." Mainly civilians are like, "Oh man, you got out just in time, this and that." And then like the easiest way I could explain it to people, because you don't want to sound like, "Oh no, I want to go to combat. I want to do this." It's like I would tell people it's kind of like being on the high school football team, and you make it all the way to varsity, and y'all do really good, and it's fun, and then you graduate, and the very next year they go to state.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I missed out. This is what I trained for. This is what I worked so hard for. And then I didn't get to do it. But the next year they did. It's kind of like that. Do
you have any remorse or survivor's guilt or any of that?
Maybe a little. There's things like, you think like, okay, I got out and guys stayed in, did this, and things happen, but no, because I just look at it like the way I always kind of looked at it was, I did 6 years and I got out, and then everything happened, and it was like, all right, well, maybe that was just, my purpose was to go in and do this, maybe train people to do this, and then I got out. Maybe it's my kids. Maybe I was I wasn't made to do anything myself. Maybe it was my kids. Or something. I don't know. It's like making excuses for yourself. I would have loved to have been in, after everything started. My son was born, what was it? I think 3 weeks before 9/11. My first kid was born.
Damn.
So that was what kept me from re-enlisting. I just got out, got married, and then 9/11 happens. And then my son's born a few months later, this whole little, span of time.
Yeah.
And of course my wife's like, hey, if they try to call you back or if you try to re-enlist, I'll just shoot you in the leg, and I took her serious. You were telling the story about getting ran over by a forklift.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That sucked, man. It's not something I never recommend it to anybody. It, I don't know, man. Cause, it gave me, surgery. And then they workman's comp screwed that surgery up real bad. And I had to go get another one. And they fixed it. They fixed whatever the first one did. But my back's never been the same. So even the way my ass is shaped is weird as that sounds. There's a lot of skin that got pulled up. So my ass, I used to have a fucking great ass, man.
You sure it's just not all the marshmallows you eat?
Yeah, I'm sure, man. It's shaped differently now because of that. I used to be thick, boy, with 2 C's, thick. Now it's just kind of
yeah, maybe like Tori kept saying, it's that sexual reassignment shit.
Something like that. I don't know, man. Yeah, it was just fucking weird, but I don't know. I mean, I work out enough, I guess. I feel like I'm somewhat strong. I don't feel like I'm the strongest, but yeah, I can see myself being stronger. I just have to take the gym more serious. I don't want to take any supplements. So I think it's just going to be a mindset. I think if I could just keep working my ass off, eventually, I'll start building up more levels of, whatever I need to get there. And if that doesn't work, I'm just going to start fucking pumping in steroids like I'm a motherfucker. Yeah.
Go to Mexico, get some steroids.
Yeah, all of this is just going to be super defined. I'm going to have a huge gut because I don't fucking, I'll never do abs. Fuck that shit. I felt my abs the other day whenever I was doing squats, man. I was just like, yeah, I'm definitely going to start fucking working my abs out.
You felt them or felt where they were supposed to be?
Yeah, I felt where they were supposed to be. And then they ran off again. I was like, hey, come back here, little motherfucker.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's It's been a pleasure meeting you, man. I fucking I remember whenever I first saw you, I saw your shaker bottle, and I saw the Punisher skull, and I was like, oh, man, I wonder if that dude's a fucking Marine, because that's what like so many units use now as like their symbols on their shirts and shit. And I was just like, hey, he looks about my age, which you're not my age, but I mean, I think we all act the same age, which is way younger.
Yeah, we all act like kids.
Yeah, we all act like we're fucking 16. Yep. Ridiculous.
Giggling at all the inappropriate jokes and fucking making fart jokes and dick jokes.
Yeah, especially at the gym. It's pretty easy. Yeah. Especially when you have somebody who shits their pants at the gym.
Not me.
I'm pretty sure that guy shit himself. Like, because look. So when I looked at Nick, man, I swear to God, I was like, "Yo, did you hear that noise?" Because all you heard was like, "No, it was like." Like a real slight, like
here's where you need your little sound effects.
Yeah, it was like a
no.
It was a real.
I'm just glad I was on the other side of the gym.
Not even that loud, just like a slight gentle flap,
like a real loose pussy fart.
So I'm sure like his old ass butt cheeks were just going, just that little air. And I mean, within like 10 seconds, the odor just, and I was like, Jesus, man. But then whenever we looked over there, he was like,
he's just playing it off. He was like, no,
I'm pretty like, it looked like something was just sagging in the bottom of his pants, man. I don't think it was just the sweat. I think something actually was hanging down there.
His diaper blew out.
That shit was bad. Real bad, man.
Like I said, I'm just glad I was on the other side of the gym.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he's there anymore. So,
yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Find out tomorrow.
We will. What plans do you have in the future for your business?
For my business.
For your business. For your business.
Man, I don't know. Just try to keep going, doing what I'm doing. Stay competitive, basically. But I mean, like I said before, I'm not trying to get rich doing this. I want to live comfortably. I want to provide for the family, but I'm not trying to, basically the more money I make, the more taxes I pay, the more Uncle Sam likes me. And I've given Uncle Sam quite a bit already. So I don't think I need to keep giving him taxes. So I'm not trying to make a ton of money.
Ooh. Whoa. We have 2 3s and 2 5s and an 8 on this river. Ooh.
All right.
It's going to be a good hand, boys.
So, I mean, I don't know. Just keep doing what I'm doing. Get a little more efficient.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about being self-employed. You have to be motivated, because nobody's forcing you to do it. Nobody's making you get out there and go to work. You have to do that yourself.
Yeah.
And like we joke about the gym, we go to the gym every morning. I get out of the gym a little bit earlier and go to work a little bit sooner. But the problem is, I'm not trying to work 60 hours a week. That's the nice thing about working for myself is I set my own hours. If I can maintain and get to customers, in a decent amount of time without trying to kill myself and not see my family. Because that was the main reason, I got out of aviation was the year my daughter was born. For that whole year, I didn't see her hardly at all because we were working minimum 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. So I was leaving the house before she woke up with my wife in the morning, and I would get home in the evening and they were already back in bed. So I would see them on Sunday for a couple hours. That was really it. So, I mean, it was great money, great benefits, great everything. But it's where you got to decide, okay, is making all the money worth not seeing your family? And that's one thing I like about working for myself. If my wife goes, hey, I need you to do this on Wednesday, I don't have to go ask somebody, hey, I need Wednesday off. I just go, okay, I'm not working on Wednesday. If I have something lined up, unless it's something major, I can tell customers, hey, I'm not going to be here on Wednesday. I told you I'd be here on Wednesday, but hey, something's come up. I can't do it. I'll be there on Thursday.
Yeah.
It's not like a whole chain of people you have to answer to. So it does make life a lot easier, but you also got to be able to, because I have issues sometimes with, especially like summertime, the sun comes up at like 6:30 and doesn't go down till like 9:30. To not want to work till 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, because there's times where you lose track of time. So, and that's the thing about working for yourself. You're not like, oh, well, let me leave for this reason. You're like, no, I want to get this done because of this.
Yeah, you get to, it's kind of great that you get to set your own hours, though. You get to spend time with your family, and, it's not dictated by somebody else. I think it's pretty cool, man.
Yeah. Do I need to lay anything else down other than that?
It's a full house. I think a full house beats 3 pairs.
Oh, let me see.
I don't know what else you have.
Yeah, that's about it. I got 2 pair. Well, that's what is it? 3 pair and 2 pair.
You got a full house.
Full house. There you go.
Yeah, that full house takes on everything. Yeah, I don't know, dude. I just just that little ride along that we did. It wasn't a few months ago. Hopefully, I'll edit that video a little to kind of showcase what it looks like, but it won't be like too much. But I don't know, man. I think if I was somebody who didn't want to be around a whole lot of people and
yeah. And if you're okay with doing manual labor, because
yeah,
there are aspects of my job where, like digging, sometimes there's a lot of digging, and when it's 110 degrees outside, it's not very fun.
Well, just like whenever you had that one yard a couple weeks ago, or maybe a week ago, it was like mostly clay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was, it was a dirty ass job.
Oh yeah.
But if you're okay with getting dirty, that's the kind of lifestyle you like.
Yeah.
That's it. It's a very good alternative. It's something that, in your journey to whatever you're trying to better yourself in, it could be a great opportunity. Plus you make some money, even if you were just to work with somebody, for somebody else, it could be a plausible alternative.
Yeah.
I guess you have to
one of those things
boss,
everybody wants to be rich. Everybody wants to be like, oh, hey, I want to go buy a yacht. I want to do this.
I don't want to be that rich.
No, there's a lot of taxes and a lot of crap that goes with that. But I'm just saying, I
can find my way around it. I
basically,
know
like with me, it's kind of like about being happy. I enjoy what I do. I really like doing it. I set my own hours. I do my own thing, pick my own jobs. And I go out and I do it.
Yeah. So, I think, you were making more money whenever you were working for that contractor, but.
Oh yeah. Doing aviation, of course. Oh yeah. I was making a lot more money, but
it's an
opportunity cost. The quality of life was just totally different because my life was dedicated to working for that company because we were working 12 hours a day, but 12 hours a day for me meant that I had to leave my house an hour and a half before I had to be at work because it was, a little ways away.
Yeah.
So, it was leave here at like 4:30 in the morning, go to work, and working 12 hours a day. I wouldn't get home till like 9 o'clock at night, and that was like jump in the shower, shove some food down my throat real quick and get back in bed so I can get up like 5 hours later and head back to work. So, it's not worth it. Yeah. The money's good. The benefits is good, but quality of life sucks.
Yeah. It's a trade-off.
Yeah, it is.
I think, I think you live a better life now doing what you do now than versus back then.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know you back then, but just from the sounds of it, I would assume that this is a better lifestyle than what you were.
Yeah, who wants to spend, I don't know, 80% of their time at work, not seeing your family, stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
They were probably loving, the extra money and everything, but
Yeah.
I ain't paying attention if you're really shuffling these.
Oh yeah. I've been shuffling them. Don't worry. I don't know any secrets. I'm not that good yet. Is this 5? That's 5.
I got 5. Not a very good 5, but
boom, boom, boom. We'll just put it over here. I don't think it's really gonna matter. So, if anybody ever had any questions about how to get into this, what it would look like, where would they begin to start?
There's probably all kinds of information online, really. To be an irrigator, it's pretty cut and dry on what you have to have. But really just having the knowledge, the to know how irrigation works, is probably where you would have to start, and it really doesn't take much. I don't know, because like TSTC doesn't have the classes now like they used to. They don't have the program that taught irrigation. So, I'm sure there's places out there, but most places where if, to get your license to be an irrigator, you have to take like a 40-hour course through the state, a state approved course. And, that's going to teach you quite a bit. It's not going to teach you everything, but if you wanted to, it'd probably be best to work for somebody first and go from there.
Yeah.
Because it would be pretty hard to not have any knowledge whatsoever about irrigation and just jump right into it. You're going to be left with so many blanks, so many questions, because I have people that call me, on times going, hey, what do you do about this? What do you do about that? That are just getting into the business, and I'll tell them kind of what I know and give them information on what to do about it. But, and you got to have stuff like that. And sometimes it doesn't matter how long you've been doing it too. You still got to have somebody who's been doing it longer than you. Sometimes you're going to run into something you've never seen and be like, hey, why is it doing this?
Yeah.
So, to get into the business, probably start by looking at state requirements. And Texas, I know they have everything online. I would imagine most states do. So
what do you like, altogether, what do you think it's going to cost you just to get started with the bare minimum?
Man, I don't remember the numbers now, but like
the license, or
to get the license, you got, like I said, you got to take a state approved course, which is going to cost you probably,
I think I added it up. It was like 1,500 or something.
Maybe it's like 4, like each, like everybody's kind of different because everybody's trying to be competitive, but probably $400 to $500 or something to take the state approved course. And you got to pay the state to go take the test for the license. And then you got to pay for the license. So yeah, you're looking at probably over $1,000 just initial to get the license.
That's just a license though. It's not, which I think there's some programs that, the VA would pay for.
Yeah. And I want to say like the VA paid for me to take the state course.
I want to say Voc Rehab.
Yeah. Voc Rehab covered a lot of that. That's what I did.
Yeah.
Because Voc Rehab covered, that was part of my, they paid for my college.
Yeah.
Through Voc Rehab. I used the GI Bill in Voc Rehab. So, and then I'm pretty sure they paid, because like I said, it's been a while now. I'm pretty sure they paid for me to take the state approved course to get my license, and then paid for the license. So, But that's just one of those things they would have to look in. You have to look into it. Again, it's been a little while for me. So, but I know the VA did pay for a lot of it up front.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, altogether, this is a very plausible alternative job opportunity that if you were trying to maybe switch careers, if you're trying to maybe if you're transitioning from the military, you kind of don't have any idea what you're wanting to do. I mean, this is a pretty good example of something you could do. I wouldn't say it's easy work because you are out in the elements a lot. You do have to do a lot of manual labor, but if that's something that you enjoy, this very well could be a, like I said, a plausible alternative to welding, or I don't know, depending on if you're going to set your own business, you could set your own hours. It's something that you could do depending on what city you're from, depending on what state you're from. I think there's a lot of good benefits behind trying to do something like this. And this isn't the only one out there. This is just one of many that I would suggest looking into or recommending. But as I found Avery, as I found Richard, and I listened to his story and I listened to everything that was going on, and he finally took me on like a ride along with what he was doing. This is one of those things that I kind of wanted to highlight, kind of get the word straight from the horse's mouth with somebody that's been doing this for a while, with somebody that's, you actually use their benefits for good. Clearly, not moronic in any way, just fairly intelligent individual. I mean, it's not like you can be an idiot and work on those airframes, because I mean, that's people's lives that are at stake. So I wouldn't discourage anybody if you're feeling like that would make you less of a human being. You're wrong. There's a lot of stuff there's a lot of trade jobs that I think people get a lot of flack for, just because it's not, something that has a collegiate level degree. But there's so many things that go into it that you're going to probably use more of the basic stuff that the other people will never use. And I mean, they all have their benefits. This is just one of those ones that could actually do something good for you. I don't know why my voice sounds like this. Sounds kind of pretty. I like it. But yeah, I mean, I totally think that this is something that people who are either getting out, transitioning, or they're just stuck in their own kind of head and they don't really understand what's going on, that they could say, hey, we this could be something that we do, and it's beneficial. It's something that I mean, the whole goal of all of this, of all these podcasts, are to increase the quality of life for people. So if this is one of those things that could increase the quality of life for you or for your friend, especially if you shared this video, we could also use a like and a comment. That would definitely help. But do what you want to do. But in all seriousness, this is something that could really be beneficial to somebody who's suffering. They're kind of lost. They want to still work and they want to make money, but they don't really know what to do. And I think that we can find a lot of other ones that are doing the same thing, but I think this is a really good alternative. Some people don't like welding, and that's cool, but I mean, this is a cool, whenever I went along with it, I mean, the whole 2 days that we did it was really fun. I had a blast. If I wasn't doing these podcasts, it's something I could definitely see myself doing, just because I like manual labor, and you get to see like it's almost instant gratification whenever you finish a job.
Oh yeah. And
if once you do it right, once you got the concept down, it's like, you feel adequate. And, people might hate me saying that. People might think that, it's whatever it is, but like that, I mean, that is, some people do suffer from that. So, if I get a laugh at it, I get a laugh at it. But if you're one of those people who are really, suffering from not feeling adequate enough, like this could be one of those things you do, find a good pipe that squirts and there you go.
Ain't nothing like a laying pipe.
I know, man, this bourbon is good, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Woo. I am feeling good. I want to put these down, but yeah, man, I really, I think there's going to be plenty of other interviews that we end up doing. And I think that we're going to find other jobs that are, kind of similar to this that people can do. But it's this whole, whenever I first started this thing, man, I saw so many people who weren't talking, and I saw so many people who weren't like opening up and actually doing what they needed to do. As far as like just talking to somebody, and whether that's just one person that you trust or if that's a therapist that you trust, I think some people just need to vent some of the stuff out. I remember telling a guy about this. It was my Uber driver, and he was a guy that was in like Vietnam. Yeah, he was late 60s, and we just started talking about combat and all this other stuff, and he hadn't talked about it in, I don't know, 3-4 decades, and he just started crying, and it wasn't something I was used to. I'm used to like trying to help as many people as I can, but whenever I opened up to him, or whenever he opened up to me, and we were just having this conversation, he just started crying, and I guided him into the people that I knew. And I hope that he went and actually got some help, because he's just been suffering, and it's ruined his marriages. And, he was telling me this stuff that actually was ruining his marriages because he wasn't opening up.
Yeah.
They feel like there's, no trust there. So their significant others just get upset. So it's kind of disheartening to hear, but that's what happens with people. And we have to start, we have to come together as a family. Like I really believe that the veteran community as a whole, we're a family, and we have to, there's a couple of organizations that have really gotten out there and really done some good stuff. And, I'm proud of them, and I really love what they're doing. But there's a lot of small businesses that are veteran owned that don't get as much recognition because they don't do as well. But just imagine if we all grew together, if we all promoted each other's stuff. And we bought each other stuff. That's what, Viking Alchemist is a meat company that I found out of Atlanta, Georgia. And I think they have some of the, I used their cranberry meat as a mixer with Hotel Tango as to make some old fashions, and people loved it. Put a little turbinado syrup in it. It was really good, but Hotel Tango, they're veteran owned company too. So, I had one bottle shipped to me for free that was meant to make videos, which we do have those coming out pretty soon. But I've probably bought 15 or 20 since then. And I love bourbon myself. So I'm going to keep going out there, and I'm going to keep trying to find veteran-owned businesses to support and keep growing them, and hopefully they grow me as well. But I don't look at it as a handout or anything. It's just us sharing each other, and now we get to, we're sharing Avery Irrigation as well. So if you're in the Waco area, give them a shout out. I don't, well, if this gets too big, I guess there'll be too many people hitting you up. You don't have enough people for that, but yeah, it's. I love your business, man. I love watching you do what you do. Like, I know I've told you this 1,000 times, but now it'll be on the internet. But I think you're good people, man. And I'm slowly starting to find a few more people that are good people. And I don't really give that accolade as much, just because I don't feel like there's as many good people in this world that there used to be. So I'm finding a couple more, and it gives me a little bit more hope in humanity. I think that there's going to be some, I don't know, man. I just, I don't know. I like what you do. And I really like what products you have. Really happy I met you. You know, that sounds weird, but I just think you're good people. And then you introduced me to some other good people. So, it's just kind of been a good thing. But you get down to a point where, we watch all these people lose the war within, and you just you have to have hope that something's going to be better. And whenever I saw your business, man, like how you operate, I just instantly knew that this could be something that would be extremely huge for somebody who's suffering from some shit that they can't really deal with.
Yeah.
It's been a good journey, man. And I really hope that people take this into consideration whenever they're, looking into whatever, even if somebody that's, I get, well, this, we try to focus on veterans, that's our main demographic. But if you're not a veteran, then that's okay. Like, we still will accept you in to watch our videos, to, learn some knowledge. But, if a veteran that is struggling, that is suffering, you could easily pass this information on to them. And if you're just, somebody who suffers from the same stuff, and you're not a veteran, this is still good information to learn. Like, we're not trying to ostracize you or anything. This is just, good stuff that we find out there. And, if you can do a podcast too, hey, go for it. I just like talking to people. So, yeah. I mean, most of the time, Richard and I talk probably an hour and a half a day. So,
sure, probably more than that.
Yeah, probably, excluding text. So, yeah, no, and the image and the picture text. So,
yeah,
it's all for you, baby. No, man. Yeah, it's been really good talking to you, man.
It's been fun.
Yeah.
We'll talk more tomorrow.
Yeah. It's just, I wanted to make sure that people got to see, kind of who you are, what you do, and how you operate. And I think those are, some of the bigger things that if I was to go into a business that I'd want to know. And the fact that, you operate the way you do operate, it's something that I wish would kind of come back a little bit more. Even when I was in school, we look at these businesses and it feels like, especially corporate America is going further and further away from this down to earth type business culture. There, even if you look at, McDonald's, Wendy's, Burger King, all the fast food joints, they're buildings are starting to look more like corporate office buildings than the fun. Look at Nickelodeon Studios. It used to be this fun, vibrant color thing. Now it's just, kind of gray and dull. So, having that fresh breath of life come back into a business, I can truly appreciate that. And, I don't know, is there how would somebody contact you if they wanted to, try to get your business?
Call, text, email. I mean, mainly.
You're going to get closer to the mic.
Yeah, get back over here and hug this thing.
Yeah.
We're like, oh yeah. So yeah. I mean, I'm always open for phone calls, text messages, emails.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you have a Facebook page?
I do. I don't maintain it very much. I have my personal one. I mean, most veterans, it's open. I mean, anybody. I mean, I don't want to say it's not a public one, but I mean, my business has. I'm pretty sure it's just Avery Irrigation on Facebook. Again, I don't maintain it very much because you only take so many pictures of broken pipes and stuff like that you're gluing back together to show people.
Does it have your contact information on it?
I do believe it does.
Okay.
So, I mean, like I said, it's just, Avery Irrigation on Facebook. And then I want to say, like my personal is just, I think it's just Richard Avery.
See,
Yeah. I would say you might know. Yeah. So
I've tagged you in a lot of stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like you're going to be able to go to Milwaukee or anything, but unless they pay a crazy fee for you to come out there.
Yeah. That would definitely be,
yeah, you're not getting that for free.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know if, I mean, again, like the laws in Texas are probably way different than the laws in Wisconsin or whatever. So, but I mean, if somebody had a question like, hey, okay, you know, when you decided to do this, what did you do? You know, I mean, that might help somebody going, hey, look, you know, we'll go to the VA and tell them this.
Yeah.
You know, but, you know, but what you have to do to get a license in another state, no, I probably wouldn't be able to help too much. But other than saying, hey, we'll Google this. But
yeah, I mean, whenever I Googled all the information to get started, it was all in Texas. So, I mean, if you can't Google, then you know, something might be wrong with you. But yeah, I mean, all the information's out there, all the licensing and everything is out there. This is, I think, you know, I really just wanted to get more of like an example of what it would look like from if you wanted to first get started, if you were looking into kind of what an idea of what this would look like. Because, you know, this can't go for all 50 states, but this is a good example and a good way to get started. And, you know, I really thank you, Richard, for coming out, man, or for letting me come over.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure, man. And I really hope that this message comes across to at least somebody who's interested. If somebody can actually, you know, benefit from this, if you know of anyone, you know, share it with them. I know, you know, we're going to ask that a lot, you know, just for you to like, comment and share. Cause, you know, as an organization for us, we're only going to go and get paid off of sponsors because, one thing that we do on these podcasts is a lot of, cursing, and we just say whatever we want. And because of all the rules and restrictions, we have to kind of violate those. So we won't get monetized, and that's perfectly fine with us. We're just about getting the message across. So if you're not familiar with what the VETS struggle is at this point, the VETS struggle is just a digital media entertainment company, very similar to BuzzFeed. We have different variations of what we do, different categories, different, I don't know, just different entertainment. And we're going to be pushing more of that out, but the VETS struggle is going to be, well, the VETS struggle will be the main thing that we push all of our content through. And, sometimes we might push out other veteran stuff that we see. But that's just to get the veteran word out. We're not looking to become extremely wealthy off this. We're just trying to grow the veteran family as much as we can. Looking up, Avery Irrigation. He has a great service. He does great work. And I personally would highly recommend him if I owned my own land, if I had my own irrigation services. But if you guys have any questions, if you have any comments, if you want to learn more, all you have to do is just ask them in the comments below. We'll try to get around to them as quickly as possible. And if he can't answer them personally, then I'll message him whenever he gets a chance and be like, hey, you have to fucking answer this. And eventually be like, yeah, dude, I'm full of so much fucking information. Like, the fuck out of here. It's this. I'll be like, yeah, you're right. So, we just wanted to thank all of you for tuning in. If you stayed in this long, it's been a hell of a night. I accidentally turned off the power to a lot of the shit. So I messed it up at the end or in the middle somewhere. I don't know. But yeah, it's been a blast. I can't wait to have this podcast out, to have more people who get to actually hear what Richard said and what Richard's done. And like something I will always reiterate, doesn't really matter if you're a combat veteran, if you're not a combat veteran, if you're a civilian, it doesn't matter. We're just here to try to help everyone that loves veterans and does all the support. And as Richard was saying earlier, I totally agree with this, that we all have different levels of mental health issues. And, some people deal with them better than others, and some people need a little help. And that's where we all come into place. So, and this could be one of those things that you actually get to help somebody with. So we hope to see you on the next episode. I don't know who that will be, and I don't know when that will be, but you'll get to hear more of me and more of whoever else. We have a bunch of people who are lined up. It's just me getting out there. So there's going to be a lot of stuff coming out of Texas for a little while, but we do have some trips planned out to other states. So there's a lot of good stuff coming out, I promise, especially with the veteran-owned businesses and everything. I don't know. You have anything to say, man?
Oh, no, not off the top of my head. Sitting here listening to you now.
Yeah, just had to say a couple words, I guess. Most of us have been you talking, so yeah, it was a pleasure, man. I appreciate it.
It's been fun.
Yeah, this. I'm sure we've had a lot of these conversations before, but it's good to finally have it out there. It's going to be on the internet, so it'll live forever, I guess.
Yeah.
If not, it'll be on my hard drive. So whatever it is, man. But I really I really think that this could possibly help. Even if it helps one person, I'm totally down for that, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we're gonna go ahead and end this podcast, man.
All right.
Let me just give one quick little. If you can just like, comment, share. It's all we ask. It's free. It doesn't take anything. Just throw it out there. You never know who you're gonna help. And just, if you get a chance, tell somebody about the vet struggle, man. We're just here to help people. We're here to help vets. That's all we care about. We have more episodes. We'll try to link those somewhere, maybe up here. I don't know. I always forget the corners, but if you have an opportunity, just, even if this is a clip, I don't think this will be. Might be fucking this up. I don't know. Anyway, so if you get a chance, go watch some more of our videos. We'll have hopefully some more entertaining stuff coming out that you like. And if not, maybe you can give us some suggestions and we'll throw something out there. We'll make do. We have plenty of cameras. So, because it's taken me forever to build this thing up, but I'm really happy with where it's going. I'm really happy with where we're at, and I'm really happy with the lineup of people that we do have coming up. So, thank you if you're a fan of us. Truly appreciate it. And since we're just starting out, if you're commenting, we're probably going to comment back. So at least you get to hear back from us for now, which is something that we'll try to keep going on forever. But depending on how big we get, I've told this to a million people. We're not literally a million, but quite a few. We're not looking to get, I'm personally not looking to get extremely wealthy or extremely rich. Most of this is just to help other people out. That's all I really care about. It's just the veteran community. And you will always hear that from me. It's always about the veteran community. I love you all, like your brothers and sisters.